Right then, hello everyone and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship. We are here for round 7 of the 2021 Porsche Super Cup Championship, which takes us to the long-awaited Istanbul Park in Turkey. Yes, Porsche Super Cup is finally back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to a venue we've been trying to get to work for a proper while now, and we're finally so glad we're able to go here. Istanbul Park in Turkey. This is obviously concluding the European leg of the Porsche Super Cup calendar, as we're now in the final 4 races of the season, and the championship is looking closer than ever. We're here for 20 minutes of qualifying. My name is Miran in the commentary booth, and alongside me is none other than my partner in crime himself, Giuseppe. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, man. Yeah, it's great to finally be at this track. I mean, we've been trying to get it to work for such a long time, and now we're gonna get our, first taste of it.
Yes, it is very, very nice to finally be able to see racing around this track. And as we're looking at Terzic, who currently is making his way around the circuit, I will take you through the track. So, Istanbul Park, officially known as Intercity Istanbul Park, after the owners of the track. It was opened in August of 2005, designed by infamous track architect Herman Tilke, located in the Tuzla district of Istanbul in Turkey. The track hosted the Formula 1 Turkish Grand Prix from 2005 all the way up until 2011, in which it was replaced due to a lack of, I believe it was a lack of attendance or just a lack of funding. It was one of the two, in which it was taken off the Formula 1 calendar, but it was reintroduced for 2020 and 21 following the COVID-19 pandemic. It's also hosted MotoGP. The Turkish Motorcycle Grand Prix came here for 3 years, 2005, 6 and 7, and then you've also had the WTCC and the Le Mans series around here. Nowadays, though, the circuit is mostly dormant. It hasn't seen much action outside of Formula 1 in recent years. But this layout then, the Grand Prix circuit, which has remained unchanged since 2005, is 5.338 kilometers long and does feature 14 turns. And this track, I have to say, one of Tilke's finest works. Driving around this track is an absolute pleasure. It's got a very, very tricky sector 1 in terms of elevation, lots of left-right corners, and it's also got that infamous turn 8. I think it has 4 apexes just flat out in Formula 1 cars. It just goes on and on and on and on. You're going to see Mikolas Černik go through it, and it's such a difficult corner for car and for driver. And arguably I have to say this is one of my favorite racing tracks ever. And I don't know if it is yours, Giuseppe, but I'd still like to hear your opinion about this one.
Well, I mean, it's certainly one of the tracks I like. Honestly, I myself haven't seen much of it, so it's glad to be here and get to see some action of it. Of course, you know, my favorite tracks, of course, are the ones in Italy, but that's not only biased, but it's also, I guess, because, you know, I really do like those tracks, but we're not going to talk about that today, because it's all about here in Turkey, in Istanbul. We're going to talk about, I mean, yeah, it's a track which requires a lot of skill by the driver. As you said, turn 8, the different elevation changes. It's a very tough track, but that's what we love to see how the drivers approach these types of tracks, and how they will master it, who will master it and who will not. So, as of now, the best lap time, I think every lap time has come in. The best lap time is by Julia Miyazaki, 2.11. Tandler is second with a 2.12, and Jakobsen, who we're looking at right now, has a 2.13. He might improve to us, he is on another lap.
Yeah, we'll see if he is going to be able to do that. And Søren Jakobsen in third, who has been on a pretty decent point streak in these last 4 races, so he'll look to carry that on here today into Istanbul. Championship is definitely something we should talk about because it is extremely close. Everyone in the top 17 of the championship within 25 points. That is absolutely crazy. And the top 7 is separated by 9 points. That is absolutely ridiculous. So I think today is anyone's game to take the lead of the championship. One bad performance from the guys at the top, and I think we could have a pretty big shuffle in the order.
And as we see, Chesney and Shine both improving up to 7. Chesney was for 6 before. Now Shine tops Chesney on that by like only 2,000, so he's up to 6. A lot of improvements here. Fisher 9, Söderström 10. So drivers, of course, well, getting to know the track and setting in better and better lap times. But yeah, I mean, Söderström right now, your championship leader. Theoretically, it is also David Dewey. Of course, he's gone to Formula though, so no more points he can score. Then we have Marco Rosenthal and Schaefer is also gone, but then we got Chernik. So it's a bit of a tricky situation to read the standings, as some people have stayed, some people have gone, and some people have been completely introduced, from 0 onwards, because Constanzo, who's now sitting in P18, won last race, just to remind you. So theoretically, it's not like he's out of a championship fight, but of course that's a long stretch, as he did come late into the season, midway through it. Right now we're at round 7. Also interesting to note, by my calculations, everyone is actually still able to win the championship. So that's also nice to hear. In championship like Super Formula and Formula 2, there's only a certain amount of drivers which only can still win it, as I've calculated there. But here in Porsche Super Cup, it's a very tricky situation, and everyone is mathematically able to win it. But yeah, as you said, Miran, the championship top 10 even is very close, and yeah, I'd say it's top 16 because Giuseppe Stella has gone to Super Formula, but yeah, top 16 in a race win range. So it's very, very exciting things happening here in the Porsche Super Cup.
Yes, indeed, it's looking very, very interesting, and everyone still in championship contention. Even Halil Shahin, we were looking at, who is tied for last place in the championship, even though he's only done 1 round. And Halil Shahin, as there goes Nikolaus Schlöter into second, great lap from the Luxembourger. But Halil Shahin, who in his very, very long career will finally be able to race on home soil. This is, I think, even the first time we actually go to Turkey in the ACOC. So Halil Shahin and Çağatay Yılmaz down in 18th will both be the home heroes today. As we see Yannick Moltke, who's gone up into 3rd. Håkan Solenström was just in 3rd, but he's been knocked down to 4th by Yannick Moltke, who's not been having the greatest of seasons, really. It's been a bit lackluster compared to where his BWT Lechner Racing teammates have been. So yeah, the German, who is the underdog, I suppose, of those 3, could maybe try and assert himself a bit more here.
Yeah, indeed. As a small correction to not offend Schlöter, he's from Liechtenstein, of course. Of course, both being macro nations, as we do love to see the diversity. Speaking of Tremblant, because yesterday there was Super Formula, so if you haven't checked that out, go check it out now. It was a pretty nice race, honestly, I'd say. But now our eyes, of course, are on Porsche Super Cup. And I'd say this one is definitely worth a watch. I mean, 100%, because this is a new track. I mean, we've never seen it, as we mentioned before. So why not check this out? As Čurčević improves up to 14th, because Terzic up to 2nd. Great lap time.
Yeah, that is a brilliant lap from Terzic at a 2:01.182, and he's only about a 10th off. Miyazaki currently on pole position, so Terzic, we'll see if he'll be able to get another improvement in, and if he is going to be able to challenge for that pole position. But yeah, Nikolaus Schlöter from Liechtenstein. Yeah, I think I did get him and Tremblant confused, as we did have Super Formula on, and they also used to compete in the same series a season ago. So I think it is just my mind playing a few tricks on me. But 8 minutes left in the session then. Miyazaki has remained top of the timing sheets ever since she clocked that 2:01.086 in. And the question remains to be begged if anyone will be able to beat that lap then.
Indeed, as she did actually have a 2.11 beforehand, but she improved upon that. Now it's a 2.1 flat, and it's looking a very good lap time. She's one tenth clear of Terzic. So honestly, great lap time there by Miyazaki, and I don't know. I mean, certainly beatable, but it's very hard to beat. That's what I'm trying to say. As Gonzalez improves up to 19th, but yeah, as now Terzic is on a lap time. He's 1/10 off his best. Let's see if we can make anything out of this last sector, as we could as well follow him now through it. Of course, this being the section of turn 12, then turn 13. He's approaching the... Oh, never mind. He's approaching the pit lane. So no new lap for Terzic, but that would have been turn 13. Of course, this track has 14 turns. Churchevich across the line, no improvement, for example, there. But left in qualifying, just to refresh your mind, it's about 7 minutes. So definitely a lot less time left.
Yes, indeed. But I still do think a lot of these guys could go for a few more runs. Mishko Stanchevich, they're not able to improve on that lap. He's actually tied with Kai Cherezhnia there in 13th, but Cherezhnia edges him out just by, I believe, by the thousandth, not even the thousandth, the 10,000th, as here is Mikolas Chernik then, and he becomes the man to dethrone Julia Miyazaki. That's a 2:01.036 from the Czech man, Mikolas Chernik, and that is gonna be big for the Nebulous Racing driver, as he now puts it onto pole position provisionally, and he is only 3 points off the top of the championship. So if he gets an advantage like this, well, certainly it's going to be pretty good for him.
Yeah, what a lap there. I mean, beaten by about 500. And I think these drivers are slowly coming to the 2-0 mark, because it's not that far off. Oh, Thunder there, up into P3. Great lap as well. Oh, Miyazaki gets back at Chernik. 2.09. What a lap.
And what a response as well from Julia Miyazaki. 2 minute flat. That is 2 minutes 0.916. That is over a tenth faster than Mikolas Chernik. And Miyazaki not playing around at all, as Jagan Yunada now up into second. Great lap from the Malaysian driver in the MRS GT car. And he joins Miyazaki in the 2 minute zeros.
Yeah, Chong up into 6th as well. Great lap here by the Malaysian. So Malaysia not having a bad day here in Istanbul, but I think I saw somebody else improve. I didn't really catch who it was. I think it was Lemieux or Declerc. Oh, as Shine up into P3 on home soil.
Yeah, and the home crowd very happy about that one, I'm sure of that. Halil Shahin up into third. Great stuff from Shahin, and that is what you love to see. Damian Krastev up into 7th as well. Goes the Bulgarian. So 2 more getting themselves into the top 10. Make that 3 as Kyong goes up into 3rd. That's 4th as Chernik takes it back. 2 minute 8. That time is just coming down. This fight for pole is turning into something fierce.
Yeah, this is like a boxing fight. I mean, it's one hit after the other. It's not stopping. So it's first Miyazaki, then Chernik, then Miyazaki, then Chernik. I mean, I would not be shocked if it was another switch. Also, we saw there Constanzo last race as a race winner, going up to 7th. So great lap by the Samarinese as well. As qualifying, not much time left, as this is with these cars, it's a 2 minute lap time, and we have a bit less than 4 minutes left. So only about 1 to 2 laps, I'd say, are still doable.
Yeah, it is definitely doable as Miyazaki delivers another strike as if it were a boxing match. It's a 2-minute 8:04. That's 800th clear. This is an absolute titanic qualifying battle we're having at the moment. Sebastian De Clote's got up into 12th, Amon Al Fadil up into 6th, and another challenger enters the ring, and it is none other than the home hero himself, Çağatay Yılmaz, who goes up into provisional pole. Oh my goodness, it's a 2-minute 0.755 from Çağatay Yılmaz, and the man in his home race goes up into provisional pole.
Unbelievable. Where did he come from? I think he was underneath the top 24.
I think he certainly was. There's Luke Fisher up into third. It's a 2-minute 0.832 from the Welshman in his second Porsche Super Cup race. Damian Krastev goes back up into 7th, but right now here in Turkey it's a Turkish driver on provisional pole.
And the home crowd will be loving that, as Keon up into 4th. Great consistency by him today, staying up in the positions and proving himself another good lap time. Constance improves her own position up into 10th. So of course he wants to capitalize on that good result. I mean, that dream debut of last race. He doesn't really want to just stop now. As why stop now when you can get even more? So right now in 10th. Although I think he still has time for one more lap, maybe even 2 if he crosses the line quickly enough. But yeah, I mean, this is crazy. I did not see that coming, I'm gonna be honest. With Yilmaz there.
Not at all. That came from absolutely nowhere. But yeah, I think he will certainly be elated with this if he's able to keep it. And that is the key then, to be able to keep this, because this has been an absolutely crazy qualifying session. It's been back and forth between Miyazaki and Chernik, and then you had the likes of Fischer and Yilmaz, and now Nikolaus Schlöter, who absolutely decimates that lap. It's a 1/10th improvement over Çağatay Yılmaz, and when margins are so close, that seems 1/10th seems like an absolute age. Nikolaus Schlöter now becomes the next man to clinch provisional pole with a minute to go.
Yeah, and I don't know if that lap time is gonna get beaten again. I mean, it could be, but honestly, a 1/10th improvement, that's absolutely mental.
Absolutely mental indeed. I do agree with you there. There's Andrei Sazonov, the Russian in the BWT Lechner, goes up into P6. That gets at least one of the 3 Lechner cars into the top 10. So not bad from Andrei Sazonov, as he's just on another lap here with 40 seconds to go. So we'll see if he's going to be able to get an improvement on that lap. Going up into 4th then is Rubinho Gonzalez. Shoots up the field, and the Spaniard will grab himself a provisional 2nd row at the moment, as he's only 3 thousandths of a second off Miyazaki in 3rd. This is looking really, really close, and I have no idea what is about to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, the drivers who qualified well early on are now like all the way down. Like we saw, like with Moltke, Szczeresnia, Sorenstrom. It's really like it just shows you how close this is. That the lap times are getting beaten little by little. But look at that. I was talking about Moltke. He improves now up into 7th. Great job. And now we're gonna look at Tander. I think that's his teammate of the cars just look very similar. But Tander now going to turn 12, now turn 13, and soon enough into 14. No, he goes in, but Stefansson decides to complete this lap around the final corner. There's a car behind him as well. I can't really tell who that is, but that car will finish his lap as well. Or start a new one. No, can't start a new one because now the qualifying session is over. Stefansson up into 17th. Good improvement. Rosenthal now, it's not gonna be an improvement, so unfortunately he stays in that position. I think these drivers are actually fighting a bit, so I don't know if they will improve.
No, they didn't. Next across the line, Justin Ferguson-Ose goes up into 22nd. Andrei Sazonov will be next across the line. But yeah, that is pretty dire for Marco Rosenthal, who will be starting all the way down in 23rd. It is definitely not the qualifying he needs here at Istanbul. As Andrei Sazonov now then across the line. Can he find an improvement? Not quite. Next across the line, Kai Chereshnia up into 2nd for the former Formula 1 driver. That is a brilliant lap from Kai Chereshnia. Next across the line, home hero Halil Shahin. He goes across the line, and it's no improvement for Shahin. Unfortunately, it is 14th at best for him. Junada across the line does not improve. What about Gonzalez in 5th? Can he find that edge over Miyazaki in 4th? Not quite. Jakobsen though goes on to provisional pole, and Loic Lemieux, the Swiss man in his 2nd race, up into 3rd. Great lap from Loic Lemieux, and then across the line will be the final man, Miško Srnčević, the Montenegrin, just making his way around the final corner, and it's going to be across the line for Miško Srnčević. Does not improve, and grabbing a shock pole position here at Istanbul, it is Søren Jakobsen on pole position here at Istanbul Park.
Honestly, I don't know what to say. We had like, I don't know, or 1,000 pole switches there? It's hard to tell, really.
Here, I mean, I have to say, what a way to introduce Istanbul Park to the ACOC, certainly, and what a qualifying session that was. We can only hope the race is going to be like that as well. But before we get underway with that, it is time to go through the qualifying grid then, and on pole position, just securing it then in the final few stages of qualifying, Søren Jakobsen for MRS GT Racing will take pole position here in Turkey, and lining up alongside him in the front row will be Nikolaus Schlöter. Great qualifying for him as well. Loic Lemieux in his 2nd Porsche Super Cup outing lines up in 3rd, with the former Formula 1 man Kai Cherezhnia in 4th. Home hero Çağatay Yılmaz will be in P5, and then Julian Miyazaki will be in 6th. Rubinho Gonzalez will be in 7th, with Luke Fischer in 8th. Ji-Wan Kyon will be in 9th, and then rounding out the top 10 is Yannick Moltke for BWT Lechner Racing.
And in 11th, we have his teammate Sazonov, and in 12th we find Miklos Cernik. Then going on, we find Yunada and Krastev. Another Turkish man, we find Halil Şahin, who sits in P15. Not as high as Çağatay, but I'm sure he can do something from there as well. And just outside the would-be paying points position. Okay, that was not correct, but anyways, Alfadil, who sits just outside the points paying positions, is 16th. Then last week's race winner, Alessio Constanzo, is only in 17th, so he has some work to do. Down there in 18th, Stefansson in 19th. Then we have Terzic in 20th. Cheong and Leclerc 21st, 22nd. Leclerc's teammate Söderström is in 23rd. Ferguson Olsey is in 24th. Rosenthal finds himself in 25th. Lucas in 26th. And Cherčević rounds off the grid in 27th.
Yeah, and that is it then. The grid is set. We're now ready to go racing for the first ever time here at Istanbul Park. Apparently not, as our cameraman maybe seems to have fallen asleep. But yeah, it is a pretty interesting grid, I have to say. Jakobsen, Schlöter, Lemieux, Cherezhnia. Just that top 10, I have to say, was so close during qualifying. And if they are equal on pace, we'll just have to see how this race is going to turn out, as we're going to get our answers shortly then, as the lights are coming on here at Istanbul Park. And we're underway for the first ever time here in Istanbul. Good start. No, not quite for Søren Jakobsen. I was confusing it with Nikolaus Schlöter there as they head into turn number 1. Schlöter there on the inside line. Jakobsen using all the available track to him to try and hold off Schlöter, but they are going to be side by side heading up turn number 2 and down into turn number 3. There's been a crash at the back. We're going to investigate that later. Schlöter late on the brakes into turn number 3, and now through 4 it's going to be Jakobsen on the inside line through the technical couple of left-handers of turns 5 and 6. Now Jakobsen is going to hold the outside line for both of them. Runs off the track almost as Schlöter tried to get it done. They're still wheel to wheel then, now down into the hairpin of turn number 7. Jakobsen holding the inside line as Loic Lemieux there in the background tried to pick up the scraps from this battle. Schlöter runs a bit wide, heading down into turn number 8. The fearsome turn 8. Jakobsen runs wide, and I think they are going to be wheel to wheel through this, as Jakobsen's going to try to get it done on the outside line here. Now then, as they have been side by side through the entirety of this corner, down into turn 9, they will go into the sharp braking zone. Who's going to get this done? Is Lemieux going to try and make it 3 wide for the race lead? I think he might, just as he makes contact with Nikolaus Schlöter and barges his way up into second here at the start.
Honestly, that was a bit dirty, but I think it did the job, as Cheresi now is pressuring his teammate there, I think. Oh, Cheresi, ooh, that was a bit sideways there, but great control by the pole. Of course, a lot of experience allowed that to happen, and I think Jakobsen, after a hard battling, finds himself at the front. The Shaita Hilmaz, your home hero, will make it actually P4, passing Cheresi here, if he can do it. Cheresi, though, fighting back. He might try maybe a move to Schlöter as well eventually, but now into the last corner, what will it be? Yilmaz or Cheresi has to now come onto the main straight, starting lap 2. I think Yilmaz got the worst exit, so now he lines up maybe on the inside, but for now he's behind Cheresi. No, he lines up back behind, but Miyazaki and Fischer here are fighting into turn 1. Miyazaki on the inside, Fischer on the outside. You see what the two can do, as they're going to do, go side by side through turn 2 as well, heading into turn 3 eventually. Of course, very long turn 2, so there's a lot to go side by side for. But now heading into turn 3, Miyazaki's on the inside. Will she make the move done? It seems like it. Although Fischer's not going down without a fight, but Miyazaki rounds the outside. Clever move, and I think Fischer's now under pressure by Gonzalez.
Yeah, Gonzalez is now going to try to get the Welshman, as they will be side by side down the run into turn number 7. No, not quite. I think Gonzalez is going to have to settle behind. No, he's not happy with that, as he did get a pretty good run out of turn number 6 on Luke Fischer, and as a result they're going to be wheel to wheel through 7 and into turn number 8 as well. Gonzalez on the outside line, that's going to try to make it stick through all these winding and long apexes, as they will be side by side. Yannick Moltke there in the back is going to try to get involved into this as well, as they head out turn number 8. Gonzalez trying to make it stick. Moltke tries to go for a gap that isn't even there, and that is going to result in his teammate Sazonov trying to get past now. So 2 Lechner cars will be wheel to wheel. Gonzalez still side by side with Sazonov, and heading out of turn number 10. I think that is going to be Andrei Sazonov, or Rubino Gonzalez ahead of Luke Fischer, as we're seeing Moltke and Sazonov wheel to wheel as they head into turn 12 or turn 11 and into sector 3. Now into turn number 12. Moltke's going to be late on the brakes. He's going to try it on Luke Fischer. They're going to be 3 wide, heading down into the braking zone of turn number 12, and there is a lot of contact between the 2 Lechner teammates, and Yannick Moltke he is the big loser of that one, as Sazonov now does get past his teammate, but he's still trying to get Andrei Sazonov here, and even despite that contact, he is still not letting that position go.
And now he's going to want to line out on the outside. Now he actually is going to probably try and send one down the inside into turn 1. Moltke, though, I think he's too far back, so for now he stays behind. But no, Shahin is trying to move with the Chernik for 12, that is. Now he's round the outside onto the very long turn 2. The 2 of them going side by side, eventually heading into turn 3. Who will get the better of the corner? As Shahin now, I think, a bit of a later braking compared to Chernik. I think he finds himself in front. Yeah, he is in front.
Incredible battles we're having here the first 3 laps. It has to be said. But I wonder if we could investigate what happened on the opening lap. Maybe just before that we'll get to see Alessio Costanzo. Oh, never mind, we'll actually get to see it now. Here is Damian Krastev, pretty long way behind the field. So we're going to see what happened here then into turn number 1. This is on board with the Bulgarian, who started in 14th. Heading into turn number 1 then.
I got tagged from behind.
I think he was, yeah, he got tagged from behind.
Left spun as well. Yeah, Alpha did the contact there.
Yeah, there's Amin Al-Fadil. I believe if it wasn't a 3-wide situation here, but Al-Fadil just tries to go for a gap that isn't there.
Let's get it from the outside, because it's kind of clear. Oh, yeah, no, that's completely Al-Fadil there. Actually, there was 2 separate incidents there as well.
Yeah, there was. I think that was Tander. I believe that. Yeah, that's Nick Tander, who got spun round as well. Krastev eventually was able to get the car out of the barriers and get rolling again, as here's Costanzo then versus Yunada, as they will be side by side heading out of turn number 7. and into turn number 8 as well. Alessio Costanzo not having the greatest of starts, but he's trying to make up for it as he's going to be side by side trying to get up into 14th ahead of Jagan Junada. Junada on the inside, Costanzo heading out of the corners just behind there. And he's on the grass. I think he dipped the wheel to the grass, it looked like, but I think he's still going to be able to go wheel to wheel with the Malaysian driver heading into turn number 10. No, not quite. Junada has the better traction there and is able to keep his 14th place.
Honestly, a lot of battles here. I'm barely able to keep up the field, down into the field. It's honestly really hard to keep up with. But yeah, of course, unfortunate incident there into turn 1. It's actually 2 separate incidents as well, but now we're going to look at Cheong, who actually tries a dive down the inside of Costanzo. Not sure how this is going to work out, but of course now heading into turn 13. They've made it cleanly side by side. Cheong now with the inside, but no, I think he lines up back behind, but I think Costanzo goes a bit wide, so he leaves him room. Now heading onto the straight, it's a bit wobbly on both the cars, but I think Cheong is going to maybe try and move down the first corner as he still wants to line it up side by side, but no, he lines up back behind, so no move made there. But Jose Lucas now in the Clut hard battling. Yeah, that's the Clut and Lucas, and now they can go side by side through turn.
Yeah, the Clut and Lucas now wheel to wheel. Jose Lucas on the inside line. He's going to try and get that one done, and it's no problem for the Brazilian to hold off Sebastian de Clout right now.
Down in the back, some fighting as well, but we're gonna head in the front as well as Lemieux, who, you remember that move onto Schlöter. He's now battling Jakobsen for the lead. He's been, of course, was battling with Schlöter all of that first lap nearly, until Lemieux decided to barge in and disrupt that battle, and now he's the one who's gonna challenge for that P1 potentially.
Yeah, certainly, and what an achievement it would be for Loic Lemieux as well. In only his second race. Sure, it's no Alessio Costanzo, but that's setting the bar pretty high. So nonetheless, still a very, very impressive feat from Loic Lemieux at the moment, chasing down Søren Jakobsen for the race lead. Both of them will be chasing down their first race win in Porsche Super Cup, and Lemieux heading into the braking zone gets pretty close, and I think he might be lining something up into turn 13. No, not quite for Loic Lemieux, but he's just letting him know that he is there. And now Nico Schlöter has caught up there in the third.
It seems like he lost a bit of time around the last corner, as I think that exit was not optimal, but now Schlöter could try and get that second place back.
Yeah, we'll see if he is going to be able to do it. In third, Schlöter pretty close to the back of Lemieux now, closer to Lemieux than Loic is to Jakobsen in the race lead. So I think he did lose a lot of time heading out of turn number 14, trying to set himself up for a move into those corners, and now he might have to start worrying about the man who he maybe didn't get past in the cleanest of ways.
Of course, Schlöter clearly is looking for payback there, as of course that move. We're gonna analyze it after the race, but it was a lot of contact there as well. But I don't think too much contact on the cars itself. But that was very daring by Lemieux, and I mean it didn't work out. But I'm sure that Schlöter is not gonna let that slip away that easily.
It's pretty daring to try something like that for a rookie, I have to say. Usually we don't see rookies, they drive very calm, they drive very collected races, but usually not sending 3 wide dive bombs like that, so I think it was a bit of a shock. But yeah, nonetheless, he is still on the pace, so at least he's able to merit it.
Yeah, now we're going to look at the battle for P4 here, as Yilmaz doesn't look that far off from Chereznia in fourth.
Yeah, not at all. Kai Chereznia, who was in that battle for the top 3 not too long ago, is now facing pressure from Yilmaz, who might already try it into turn 12. Yes, he will. They are going to be wheel to wheel through 13 and 14 as well, and Yilmaz is going to have that inside line into turn number 14 unless Chereznia is going to be able to cover him off on the outside line there, and he will Chagatai Yilmaz not able to do anything, and he hasn't got the best of exits. Could Yulia Miyazaki try something here, as it's now turning into a three-way battle for P4 here?
Yeah, I was gonna say Miyazaki now could join in on this for potentially making a battle for P4, but I think Cheresnia now has got some pace back up again and distanced himself from Yilmaz. Look at that gap now between Cheresnia and Schlöter.
Yeah, Cheresnia not quite able to keep up with Schlöter in third, and well, I think that's both good and bad for Chagatai Yilmaz behind, as he's got a pretty slow Kai Cheresnia ahead of him, but at the same time he's got a pretty slow Kai Cheresnia ahead of him, meaning that he is losing time on Schlöter the more he stays behind the Polish driver.
And Yilmaz here certainly wants to chase after that podium in, well, his first ever home race essentially, which would be great for the fans here as well as for him. But before he wants to do that, he has to get past Kai, and that's not the easiest of tasks, as of course he's a man with a lot of experiences.
Yes, indeed. Halil Shahin, who's I feel like he's raced in every single series imaginable, well, bar Formula 1. He's been, I guess, pretty nomadic in his career. Obviously, for those who remember, he used to be in Formula 2 back in 2017, and it's pretty hard to imagine Halil Shahin in Formula 2. No offense to the man, but it's been so long ago now, as we're going to see Gonzalez onto Miyazaki, as they will be wheel to wheel heading into the final corner, but Miyazaki should have no problem defending this heading into the last corner, and she doesn't. Gonzalez loses out on that and hasn't got the greatest of runs. He could now face pressure from the man who set the fastest lap of the race, mind you, Luke Fischer in 8th.
Yeah, Fischer, of course, having set the fastest lap, looks to be pretty quick on the pace here. So Gonzalez certainly has to watch out, as that P7 might soon enough turn into P8 for him if he isn't careful enough. But for now, I guess this is a fight for P6, as Miyazaki did drop a bit behind Yilmaz now, instead of 1 second. So this is a pretty much a freeway battle for 6th here.
Yeah, it is a pretty heated battle, and Miyazaki has been, I have to say, she's been in the center of attention quite a lot this race. Not only in qualifying, but in the race as well. She's been fighting it away with a lot of people, and now we're looking at Yilmaz chasing down Cheresnia for 4th, and if Yilmaz gets past Cheresnia, I think that's going to look pretty good on his CV as well.
Yeah, now going to go through the very, very well-known turn 8, and then onto this small straight into turn 9. Of course, Yilmaz not trying anything just yet, but he is very close behind the pole. But now he is having just a bit of a tiny look down the inside I was seeing there. But of course, dive bomb down there would be a bit unrealistic. But as we saw beforehand, you can't make it work. Although you don't want to, and you don't want it to end into too much of a heavy contact. But yeah, I want to mention here as well, Cheresnia now has dropped more than 3 seconds behind Schlöter. So if Yilmaz is faster on the pace and can get Cheresnia, he might chase that top 3 pack.
Yeah, it is a pretty precarious situation, I have to say, for Yilmaz at the moment, because he's going to have to get past Cheresnia quite soon, as we're now looking at Miko Chernik still trying it on Halil Shahin there, but Shahin is able to hold him off. That wasn't troubling Halil Shahin at all, who am I kidding? But Chernik will have to watch out trying moves like that, failed moves like that, because that could invite Jagan Junauda behind. And even though it is pretty spread out in the top 5, it is still very close here in the lower half of the midfield. So yeah, battles are still plenty here.
Yeah, of course, we aren't seeing the same amount of battles as at the first lap, but of course, in the middle of the race, you don't want to go for too dangerous moves unless you really need to. One man who really needs to is Yilmaz, who wants to catch that top 3 pack, which I do think he could have the pace to do so. So in this case, he definitely should try a daring move in one way or the other. It's not the easiest of tasks getting past such an experienced driver like Chereznia. So although Yilmaz at his own race, of course, has the home race boost to I guess not like the famous in Formula E, of course, because that's literal. But of course, this is we're talking here motivational. So let's see what Yilmaz can make here. He's only 3/10 behind Chereznia, and I think soon enough he could try and move down the inside or even the outside.
Yeah, obviously when you've got the home crowd cheering you on, I think that does give you a pretty big advantage. And it did for Alessio Costanzo, even though he races under San Marinese flag, he still does hold Italian nationality, so I guess that home race advantage really came in clutch for him, as Yilmaz having a look on the inside of Chereznia, tries it on the inside again, late on the brakes for Çağatay Yilmaz, and I think he might actually do it here into the final corner. Yes, he is. They are going to be wheel to wheel, Yilmaz and Chereznia, and this could finally be the Turkish man's time to strike, as they will be wheel to wheel, heading down the start-finish straight and into the first corner. Yilmaz is going to have the outside line once again. Will that allow him to prevail in this battle, though?
As now into turn 2, he's down the inside, so but then in turn 3 he'll be on the outside, so he has to get a good run now here, as I think he is actually ahead of Chereznia. Yeah, he needs to cover that inside though. As actually I want to mention, Miyazaki now could even go for a move down to Chereznia into turn 4, that is now into turn 5. No, sorry, I think I turned into turn 6. I'm mixed up, but nonetheless, Miyazaki, I think he's gotten past down around the outside, and the move is down. Chereznia is losing all kinds of positions. As Gonzalez now might try a move as well. No, I'm proven wrong. Gonzalez still stays behind, but don't really care. As now we're going to look at Terzic and Cheong fighting as well further down the pack. Terzic, of course, I think trying to go around the no, Terzic is around the outside, and I'm sorry, this is Alfadil and Cheong, not Alfadil and Terzic. I got wrong there, but yeah, Alfadil on the outside now, going through turn 8. Who will it be coming out the 4-way apex corner? As if, I think Stefansson there, his teammate, Alfadil's teammate, was having a look as well. Of course, went a bit too wide there, and I think they might even make it 3 wide here. Look at them lining up to go 3 wide. Now I think Stefansson backs down, stays behind his teammate. Alfadil now showing everything, throwing everything he has at Terzic, but still he's not making it past. Terzic here defending well. The two of them battling until they can't anymore, and now through turn 10, I think this is. No, turn 11, sorry. What's happening there?
And there was contact between the two dynamic teammates, and now this is going to see Jose Lucas trying to go to Amin Al-Fadil, and he went off the track and just rejoined straight into his teammate. He was so lucky he just didn't veer off the track there, and he was able to keep it. But now Jose Lucas wasn't able to do it, and you can see all the kinds of action that's kicked off here in the background.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I just didn't catch him going off the track. That's my mistake. But of course, they're very, very close racing. But you have to be careful, especially if it's between teammates. As now Churchill is going to line up and move down the inside of. I think that's Sørenstrøm. Yes, it is Sørenstrøm. As the two of them now fighting through turn 2. Soon enough, turning to turn 3. Who will get the better into the left-hander? As Churchill round the outside. Has he made the move stick? It would seem like it. Yep. Churchill up into P23.
Yeah, that is. I think that will give him a bit better of a feeling than Miško Stančević, as he will finally be able to not be bottom of the timing tower. So yeah, I think he'll feel a bit better about that, as we're now looking at Mikuláš Černík still trying to chase down Halil Şahin. His efforts have been unsuccessful these past 10 laps, and he just hasn't been able to do anything. One man though who has been in a few battles today, Rubinho Gonzalez, now chasing down Kai Chereznia. Chereznia could drop another position here if he's not careful, and I think that pace deficit between him and the likes of Yilmaz and Miyazaki are really beginning to show.
And now soon off gonna head on to, yeah, this is lap 11, so the later stage of the race. Now we're looking at Rubinho Gonzalez. Yilmaz actually set the fastest lap, so that might be a sign for the top 3 pack that he's coming after them, although he is a long way behind with 7 seconds behind them, but he still has about 7 laps to go, so the time certainly is there, although he can't afford to, well, have take too much time, as now I think Junada and Chernik here are fighting. I was like looking at the timing tower there as well. I was looking there, but I think Junada made the move to Chernik. Yeah, Chernik was 13th, and now he got the move made up, but Chernik is fighting back. In the background we have Chernik and Costanzo fighting as well. Let's see, Chernik can even take his position, as now the outside turned to the inside. No, Junada is still there, not giving up. Let's see what comes out of this battle, as now we're gonna head into the next corner. Chernik and Junada both side by side. Junada on the inside, Chernik on the outside. Chernik, I think, with the outside line. Oh, goes a bit wide. Now we're gonna head into turn 8. I think it might stay side by side as well. Oh, it's really hard to tell who's gonna come out on top. I think in the battle behind, Cheong got the better of it, and Constanzo's now losing many positions. But I think Chernik now down the inside. Has he got the position back? It would seem like it. But Junada and even Cheong now are pressuring Chernik here. Both of them. I think Cheong here might try and move on to Junada here. Yeah. Let's see what this becomes, as Cheong, who was fighting, I think, Constanzo and Terzic behind, now is caught up to them in a matter of no time at all. And I think he might actually make the move down onto Junada. Yeah, he's up into 14th.
And a brilliant move from Kokji Chong, I have to give it to him. As here is Al-Fadil and Stefansson and Costanzo as well. It's 3 wide, as I think that was Stefansson not backing out of it. Al-Fadil thought a bit better of himself there and backed out of that. But yeah, the dynamic cars are just, I don't know what's up with them today. But yeah, here they are, side by side then, Al-Fadil and Stefansson. But I have to commend Kokji Chong. It looked like he was going to get boxed in that overtake. But he actually pulled off a very, very nice overtake on his compatriot Yagan Jonadas. We're now looking at Ahmed Al-Fadil on the outside line then, as we head into turn number 2. The 2 dynamic cars inside, or Al-Fadil on the inside line, as the 2 dynamic cars go wheel to wheel down into turn number 3 then. Ahmed Al-Fadil, it's Stefansson who's later on the brakes then through that corner, as they will be side by side through turn 4 as well. Al-Fadil doesn't get the best of exits, but he's still able to keep it wheel to wheel on the outside line through turn number 6. Then now down into turn 7. Ahmed Al-Fadil almost gets all 4 wheels off the track there, trying to keep it wheel to wheel with his Icelandic teammate as they head into turn number 7. And he gets a bit of a slide heading into the entry, and Stefansson will be fully ahead.
And we see Činčević and the Kurt fighting as well. So might join in on that as well. But yeah, Činčević, I think, tried to move there, but no, he stays behind for now. We cut back to a bit further down, further up the pack. Keon now tries to move down the inside of Moltke for P10, that is. Doesn't quite work out in his favor, but now he's gonna try another one down the, essentially the straight, with a bit of a king. That's turn 11. Through the king they're going. Keon, I think, got the better and swoops past Moltke. I didn't even realize that because of how fast that went. Keon up into 10th. So great stuff there by the Korean, as now he finds himself into the top 10. Gonna look at this battle here like once again, as the Klud, I think, yeah, he did defend position from Činčević, but they've caught up very close to Tander here now. Let's see what comes out of this. It's now gonna head into turn 12, now turn 13. Nothing quite changes though. See the pressure from Činčević behind there, so the Klud has to watch out there.
Yeah, lots of battling going on at the back as well. Håkan Sorenström now holding off his championship rival Marco Rosenthal, albeit they probably are dueling for the positions they'd like, or well, maybe the ones they were expecting, as Sorenström defends P24 from Marco Rosenthal. So we're now on lap 13 out of 18, and Søren Jakobsen leads by 1.3 seconds ahead of Loic Lemieux, and behind Lemieux is Nicolaus Schlöter by about 9/10 of a second. As we now look at Rubinho Gonzalez, still on the back of Kai Treshny here.
Cherezny beforehand did lose 2 positions in a row to Miyazaki, and Dimas now finds himself in 6th. He has been put on. He has been well, pressure has been put onto him by Gonzalez, although no moves have happened just yet. But considering Rubinho is quite close, you might see that change now. He's gonna head down into turn 9. We've seen drivers go for a move down the inside here. Is he gonna fancy that? No, he isn't, as he's gonna follow him behind. He's not gonna try and move just yet. Maybe analyzing his race line a bit and then gonna try and go for a move. Now they head down the straight and through turn 11. Let's see what comes out of this.
Yeah, we're gonna see if Gonzalez is finally gonna be able to get the move on Kai Treshny that he has been looking for so long in this race. And yes, he is gonna have a look on the inside line there. He's gonna have another look on the inside line, in fact, into turn 13. But I think he's just trying to bite off more than he can chew there, and as a result, Rubinho Gonzalez will have to stay behind. As here's a pretty interesting development then. With 4 laps to go, Loic Lemieux at the fast lap of the race.
Yeah, he is over a second behind Jakobsen, as he did drop off quite a lot. But as you said, 5 laps to go. Maybe he's gonna pick up the pace now once again. But of course he has to do it now, because 1.3 laps from me, Jakobsen is probably gonna push as well. If he did conserve, and maybe Lemieux did conserve as well. But if he wants to chase after him, he better do it now, as there's not going to be much time left afterwards. Again, looking through the field, of course, now the pack has calmed down a bit once again. Although I wouldn't mind being proven wrong, as I do love seeing drivers battling it out. But yeah, for now, looking at Gonzalez, he has dropped a bit behind Cherezny, but he's still there in striking range essentially. But he has to watch out for Fischer, who is also not that far behind. But yeah, now they're gonna head into turn 8. It was nice, well, tricky but nice corner to always look at. But yeah, for now nothing happening, as they're probably just studying each other, their lines, what they could do. But now into turn 9, we've seen this is a bit of an overtaking spot. Will Gonzalez try and move down the inside maybe? No, he stays behind. For now, nothing happening, but actually we're gonna cut back to one of their home heroes here, Shahin, who has had a look there a bit onto Moltke, not quite going committing to the move. Now they're gonna head down the straight. Let's see what Halil does here.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see Halil Shahin, who's been consistently running in the points this race. I think he certainly can't complain with that in his home race, as he's now going to try it on Yannick Moltke into 11th. He will try and go, as they will be side by side. It's Moltke in the Lechner versus Shahin in the GP Elite, as they will be side by side heading out of the final corner. Moltke gets the better exit on the outside line, as they will be wheel to wheel down the start-finish straight now and into turn number 1. It's going to be Shahin on the inside line, as Chernik, a position behind these two only, now sets the fastest lap of the race. So if they're not careful, they could have themselves picked apart by Chernik, but Halil Shahin makes sure that doesn't happen and gets past Yannick Moltke.
And now Chernik, I think Moltke and Chernik now are fighting once again. Yeah, Shahin did make that move up into 11th. Now Moltke is under pressure by Chernik. Is Moltke gonna lose another position, as Mikolas now is on the inside, gonna head into turn 7, which then leads to turn 8. But no, Chernik has the move down before the corner. Moltke lost another position. Now he's down into 13th. So not the optimal, well, not the situation he was looking for. But I want to mention Jakobsen. I did see what Shahin and Moltke were battling. He did set the fastest lap. Oh yeah, the two teammates, so the club are battling as well. But yeah, Jakobsen did set the fastest lap. So that was our response to Lemieux. Yeah. Oh, look at they're going side by side. Who's gonna come out on top? They're going through turn 8. Of course, hard racing, but respect between the two teammates. And Söderström, I think he overtook the Leclerc. I'm not sure, but the Leclerc Now he's gonna line up for a move down the inside. So as I'm looking in his mirrors, you can see it coming. Let's see what comes out of this. Söderström on the outside line gets the better. But now the look at that, he actually had a really good exit, and now into 211, he could try and swoop down one down the inside. Gonna cut to Cheong and Molke fighting as well. Look on the time sheets, no, the Klöt did not make the move, but let's look at this now going to the final corner. Cheong and Molke fighting. Molke could lose another position here. Not looking good for him right now in these last few laps. As they're gonna head down into turn 1, now onto lap 16. Will Molke lose another position? Will Cheong gain one? It's gonna all be found out here into turn 1. And it seems like Cheong is ahead. Up into P13 as Constanzo and Yunada are now battling.
Yeah, Alessio Costanzo probably isn't enjoying the greats that he did a week ago. He's still trying to get past a few people here. He's got to get past Jagan Yunada and maybe even try it on Yannick Moltke as well, as they will go wheel to wheel. Will they even? I don't think so. Heading into turn number 7, it's pretty close, but I don't think Costanzo is going to be able to line up wheel to wheel with Yannick Moltke, and as a result, he will have to stay behind. But Jagan Yunada, he's back for revenge, as he will be wheel to wheel with the San Marinese driver as they go side by side. Then now heading into turn number 8, it's going to be Yunada on the outside line. That came from nowhere, but Yunada not looking to get that position away at all. As they are wheel to wheel, then through the long and winding turn number 8, Yunada on the grass there to try and get it done. Terzic on the outside line. There's no room there to try anything, but as a result, he's going to have to pay the price of his mistake. And Ludwig Stefansson is now trying to go at him, as Yunada and Costanzo still fighting amongst each other, heading down into turn number 11.
It seems like the fighting just won't stop, and behind them there's also fighting going on. They're gonna go side by side. As we said, into turn 11. Who gets the better? Yunada, as Costanzo now drops out of the points once again. And he's now under pressure by Stefansson. And this is a 4-way battle even. As Costanzo now is gonna maybe lose a position to Stefansson here. Stefansson now is on the outside for this turn, but it's gonna turn into the inside again for the last corner. Let's see who gets the better exit, as it will be crucial heading down into turn 1. It's Stefansson against Constanzo here. Seems like Constanzo got a good exit. Stefansson could line up back behind him, or he could try a dive down the inside. Let's see what he does. He lines up behind Constanzo. So Constanzo up into 60, back into 16 once again. And Alfadil and Terzic are fighting as well. Into turn 2 they go, which then will lead us into turn 3, which is an overtaking spot we've seen many times this race before. Let's see what Alfadil can make of this situation, as he's going to go down the inside of Terzic. How will Terzic defend? We're going to find out. Down the inside, I think Alfadil got the move down around the outside. Yes, he has. Up into P18 he goes.
Yeah, good stuff from Amin Al-Fadil. He's been fighting so much in that lower part of the midfield, and unfortunately for him, there's going to be no points on the board. But yeah, he still enjoyed a good few tussles here today, as we're now looking at Julia Miyazaki, who could try and take this 4th place away from the home hero Çağatay Yılmaz, and we'll see if she's going to be able to do that, or if it's the man on home soil who will prevail here.
Because Yılmaz, after getting that P4 from Sheresny, he actually lost time onto Schlöter, so not the best of situations for the Turkish man, as now he finds himself under pressure by Miyazaki, and he might end up in P5 once again, as now the leader is on the final lap, that being Jakobsen. So not much time left, and all the drivers on this field know that. So now Miyazaki very close to Yilmaz. Can he spoil the party for Çağatay, who would probably like a P4 finish, which is the best he could be getting right now. Miyazaki though stays behind for now, although that might change during this lap.
Yeah, it could very well indeed change, as we're now on the final lap of the race. It's going to be Miyazaki's final and only chance, I think, to try that. as Ji Hwan Kyon is now going to try and get Andrei Sazonov. They're pretty close to each other, but Kyon will have to wait a bit more before being able to line up a move here, or if he even is going to be able to line up a move.
Through turn 6 they went. Now they're going to go head down turn 7. Hwan Kyon sitting in P10. He would like that P9 from Sazonov, but of course he's not gonna. He can't ask him nicely for it. He's gonna have to have a clever move lined up. Otherwise, he's gonna finish there in P10, which is a good result. But always aim higher as a driver. Never be happy with what you're getting, except if you're winning, of course. But now we're gonna look at Chernik, who could put pressure here on the home hero Halil Shine. So now they're gonna head down to turn 9. Will Chernik go for a move? He's having a look there, but nothing quite comes out of it. But now I would say we cut back to Jakobsen, who's soon enough gonna crawl across the line. It's been a one-man show. Søren Jakobsen wins our first ever Turkish Grand Prix. Loic Lemieux in second, Schlöter in third. Great race by Jakobsen. I mean, not bother except by Schlöter on the first lap. Homie Yoshihata Yilmaz fends off Miyazaki, ends up in fourth.
Yeah, Çağatay Yılmaz, what a result from him as well here today. He is going to be absolutely elated with that one. But with this race win, Søren Jakobsen also takes the lead of the championship with that. So very well done to Søren Jakobsen. And Çağatay Yılmaz is a close second as well now. So yeah, it is looking spicy in the championship heading out of Istanbul here. Just having the final few cars across the line, and there it is, yes. And I have to say, a pretty good first outing here at Istanbul. This was a pretty good race.
Yeah, honestly, I can only agree with you there. I really enjoyed that. So really nice to see great racing like that.
Yeah, it was very exciting indeed. But the results are as follows then. Søren Jakobsen, who wins here at Istanbul with Loic Lemieux, his first podium and only his second race. And then Nico Schlöter in third. Then Yilmaz followed by Miyazaki, Cherezhnia, Fischer, who grabs the fastest lap. Then it's Gonzalez, Sazonov, and Ji Hwan Kyon, who rounds out the top 10.
In 11th, we have the other homie, Halil Shine, he did get points as well. So great job by Halil. Then you find Chernik in 12th, Chong in 13th, Molke in 14th, and Yunnan in 15th. Constanzo, last week's race winner, now pointless by just about, as he did battle hard with his other competitors. You can only get P16. Stefan Son in 17th and Alpha Dil in 18th. Then we find Terzic in 19th and Jose Lucas in 20th. Then in 21st, we have Nick Tander, who actually spun on the first lap, so great, a decent comeback by the Australian. Then we have Chernchevich in 22nd, Leclerc in 23rd, Roslan in 24th. Then you find Sonnenstrom. Krastev, who spun on the first lap, actually got a position back onto Ferguson Osei, who is the last driver on the grid.
Yeah, and there it is then. For this Porsche Super Cup race, and I have to say it was pretty good. But before we go, it is time to award Driver of the Day, and I think personally I'm gonna give it to Çağatay Yılmaz. I know Søren Jakobsen pulled out the great drive, but I feel like for so many races in a row I've just given it to the winner, so I want to be a bit different today. I think the man in his home race didn't pull out a bad result at all through qualifying and through the race as well. And I think it is a pretty deserved P4, so he gets my Driver of the Day. What about you, Giuseppe?
I mean, I can agree with you there. I mean, good drive, of course, under the support of his home fans as well. Of course, at the end, they couldn't quite catch up to the top 3, but still, good drive for him. Also fended off Julia Miyazaki at the end. But otherwise, I'd also give it to Søren Jakobsen with a great drive today. I mean, that first lap battle with Schlöter was memorable, but then he stormed off into the lead, unbothered, clean drive. So if I could award 2, I'd give it to those 2.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. But that's been it then for Porsche Super Cup Yeah, fret not. The action at Istanbul does not end. Make sure to not miss the Formula One Turkish Grand Prix here at Istanbul Park. Round 11 of the Formula One Championship, and it is looking very close as well. Yeah, until then, I have been Miran.
And I've been Giuseppe.
Thanks so much for watching Porsche Super Cup, and we will see you when the AC returns for the Formula One Turkish Grand Prix.